Alito Chimachukma, this is Chief Steve coming at y'all with another episode of True Story. Now, before we get into it, I'd like to say, Yokoki, thank you to each and every one of you who have been subscribing to the channel over this time since our last video. We are now 700 strong, 700 plus strong in the community, and we are still growing. So, I just encourage you to continue to do your due diligence by liking these videos, putting that thumb up on it, and if you're new to the channel, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and press the notification bell so whenever I drop these bombs, you'll be the first one to catch them. Now, we got a good one coming up for you, a bit of a story time and word of encouragement from me, Chief Steve, to you during this special time. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Alito, y'all, Chief Steve with y'all once again. So as you can see, we are in a very special time of year, a time for remembrance, a time for honor, and a time not for sadness, but a time for joy. And you know, some people like to mistake this time for Halloween time. And if you already know these things, you already know that we don't do the Halloween thing. And it's even starting to become more prevalent amongst not only our people, but society as a whole, as so-called trick-or-treating and everything is starting to go down. It's starting to plummet severely. Candy sales are down severely. And that's just simply because people are not going outside and doing the trick-or-treating thing anymore. Plus, with inflation and everything, the prices and stuff, who really wants to spend so much money on candy and, you know, kind of hope that kids show up so you can, you know, give some candy out and stuff. Now, if you do that, or you do the trunk or treat thing and stuff like that, you celebrate those holidays, that's up to you. That's fine. I mean, you know, there's nothing wrong with it as far as, you know, hey, just know the origins of what you're doing and where you come, you know, how it's being done. But and that has nothing to do with our culture and our way of doing. But we do have a similar, not similar, but we do have a celebration that we do acknowledge and observe as copper-colored aborigines of the Americas. And today that is translated as the Day of the Dead, or as it's known in places such as Mexico, Dia de Los Muertos. And today we're going to get into the origins of Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, and see where it truly comes from. We're going in deep. We're going to go deep into the true story of it. All right. So let's go ahead and get into that. Dia de los Muertos, or the Day of the Dead, is a vibrant Mexican holiday celebrated from November 1st to November 2nd. It's a time when families honor and remember their deceased loved ones with joy rather than sorrow. The Day of the Dead has roots in indigenous traditions from the Aztec, Mayan, and other ancient civilizations, such as the ancient Mississippian, which was later merged with Catholic customs brought by Spanish colonizers. The holiday reflects a blend of pre-Hispanic rites and Christian feast days. All right. Hence why they have it on the 1st and the 2nd of the month. Families create elaborate altars in their homes or at cemeteries. These altars are decorated with photos of the deceased, marigolds, or kimpa, or what do you call it, simpashuli, or simpasuchil. Simpasuchil, which is, you know, the marigold flowers, you know, little bitty flowers. I can show y'all what those are right now. Let's pause for the cause. Alright, so when you look up marigold flowers on Google, just type that in, these flowers come up. So they're very beautiful, orange-like goldish flowers. Very pretty. All right. So these flowers, whose scent is believed to guide the spirits, and also lit with candles to light the way of the spirits, and pan de muerto, which is bread of the dead. These are basically sugar skulls along with other foods and drinks of the departed. These things are used to celebrate the Day of the Dead. So we're going to go ahead and continue. Calaveras, which are skulls, decorative skulls, so as you can see on here, are made of sugar, chocolate, or clay, and they're prominent symbols. These are very prominent symbols. The calaveras are often brightly painted and used to decorate the altars of the deceased. La Catrina, which is this young lady right here, is a skeletal figure that's dressed in elegant clothing, and it represents the holiday's playful take on death. This particular figure was created by the artist Jose Guadalupe Posada. She symbolizes that death is the great equalizer, sparing no one. So families visit cemeteries to clean and decorate graves. They hold vigils and they enjoy festive gatherings. Music, dancing, and traditional foods are central to the celebration. The holiday is not about mourning, but celebrating the lives of the deceased and maintaining a connection with them. It's a time of remembrance, love, and joy, reflecting the belief that death is a natural part of life. It's a beautiful, meaningful tradition celebrating the cycle of life and the enduring bonds with our ancestors. Okay? So now that you know what Dia de los Muertos is all about, you should know that although this celebration has been colonized by the Spanish, it is not a Hispanic or religious holiday. Our ways are ancient, and they predate any religion on this planet. The Mayans, who are the ancestors of the Egyptians and the Mississippians, celebrated these days, and those ways are still preserved and practiced today by some of our indigenous copper-colored aborigines in the South. We have gotten away from these ancient ways and have been propagandized by the Nordic Christian pagan holiday Halloween, which I mentioned earlier, which, like I said, has nothing to do with our ways. And if anything, it's a distraction to keep us from observing the sacred time. All right? The reason why this time is sacred is because it is believed to be the time before the winter solstice that the veil between both worlds, what we know as the living and the dead, is at its thinnest, which means that our ancestors are able to manifest and dwell among us in their fullest power without any kind of extra help or supernatural invocation. They simply need to be remembered and acknowledged. Now is the time to speak with the ancestors, to give them honor and thanks for all of their hard work and sacrifices made over the generations in order for us to be where we are now. And where we are now is very significant. This is extremely important during this time, as we have entered into this new age of information, self-awareness, and rediscovery. All right. The Mayans celebrated the Day of the Dead through a tradition known as Hanal Pixán. This celebration is similar to Dia de los Muertos, but has unique elements that reflect our ancient culture and beliefs. Hanal Pixán translates to food for the souls in the Mayan language. Food for the souls. So, Hanal Pixán, food for the souls, sounds like what? Soul food. Food for the souls, soul food. You hear it? This is our culture. The Mayans believe that the spirits of our ancestors return to the world of the living during this time to visit their families. According to today's calendar, this would be between the 31st of October to the end of the 2nd of November. So that's around the time that, if you were to line the Mayan calendar up with the Gregorian, it would fall around this time. But it's an extra day in there. We were actually in that time right now. It started on the 31st of October, which is probably why they wanted to put Halloween on there as a great distraction, and then only have, for Christian purposes or Catholic purposes, only celebrate the 1st and the 2nd of the month. So they got, that's their own way of doing things. But it would be the 31st of October to the end of the 2nd of November, if you were to align the calendar. So families create altars with offerings such as foods and drinks, traditional dishes such as corn dough, stuffed with chicken, pork, etc., different meats, or what we would know today as tamales. And if you don't know what tamales are, you should know, but if you don't know, I'm going to show that to you right now. So I'm going to pause for the cause and I'm going to get to you. Alright, y'all, so these are the tamales right here. You guys should know what tamales are. These are real good, and it's not just a Mexican thing. It's not just a so-called Hispanic thing. This predates Hispanic culture. This is this is Americano right here. This is Americana. This is our food. This is ancient American food. This could also be considered soul food, as it is a food that's eaten on the day of the food for the souls. Hanal Pixán, food for the souls. This is soul food. Tamales are soul food. Okay? Particularly these kind of tamales right here. The tamales that are in the banana. This is how we used to get down. This is how my wife makes them too. And she has roots in the South. But she also, she uses the banana leaves to make her tamales. She boils or cooks her tamales in the banana leaf for the flavor, to hold the flavor in there. We don't really mess with the corn husks too much. You can do it with the corn husks, but the banana leaves, I'm telling you, the banana leaves they slap. It holds that flavor. Something about that banana leaf that just holds that flavor together a little bit better than the corn husk, and it makes them a little firmer too. So it's all good though. But however you do it, just understand and overstand. Realize that, don't be ashamed to eat tamales. I mean, this ain't that's Hispanic. That's Mexican food. Man, you need to understand. That's our food. It's our delicacy. It's our soul food. That's part of soul food. We got brothers and sisters out there in Central America, South America, and the Caribbean. So this is all part of our culture. This is cultural foods. Africa didn't have tamales. Africa just got corn as of like a few centuries ago. Okay? We've been doing this since the beginning. All right, so it just is what it is. But we're gonna go ahead and keep on with the story here. All right, so they used tamales. What we know as tamales today, and other traditional dishes, which you can just ancient Mayan traditional food, and for today, because we are their descendants, you can even say soul food, because food for the soul, food for the souls. So it's and they also have a traditional alcoholic drink known as balche or balchi, which was made from tree bark, water, and honey. It was all fermented together, and it made alcoholic beverage. But it's like how we do now, man. It's like we get down, have some tamales and alcohol and some soul food and some drink, chicken and beer. You know what I'm saying? But it's all in a celebratory manner. You know what I mean? we've been doing this. What I'm saying is, rather you are our cousins from, or our brothers and sisters down from Central America, South America, and even if you the Niji on the mainland out here in the United States, and we get down the way that we get down, the way that we feast and we have festivities is similar, and it's all tied into the ancient way of how we used to do things. Okay, it comes from that ancient culture. Candles were made to light the way of the spirits, light the way for the ancestors. The marigolds, or the simpasuchil. I'm trying to get that word down, but you know what I mean. That's the ancient Mayan word, simpasuchil. But it's the marigolds. They were the scented flowers that are believed to guide the ancestors back home. They use that scent to get back to the other side. It's just, it's all in the belief and the culture. And then they also have items that belong to the deceased, such as photographs and personal mementos that were placed upon the altars. So for ceremony, the families would visit cemeteries and they would clean and decorate the graves along, a lot like Dia de los Muertos. They'll hold vigils and share meals, even share meals with the ancestors in the cemetery, and I've seen some of that sometimes when I was growing up, in Southern California. I saw that sometimes. I saw that a lot, actually, in the cemeteries and stuff around this time. I was like, man, what the hell are they doing out there? They sitting there, having a picnic outside and, out there on the grass in the cemetery, and just doing it. But that's what little did I know, they were practicing ancient ways. You know what I mean? Back then. So it is what it is. So home celebrations, though, like, so some would be in the cemeteries, where their ancestors' remains are, and then some would just be at home. They keep it at home, and they'll celebrate where their altars are set up in their house, and families will come, different families come together, they gather and they remember and honor their ancestors. They'll have like a cookout or a reunion, if you will, and that's something that we can do today, something we still do today, and we kind of do that. We call them like repasts and different things after funerals and stuff like that. It's all ancient ways here. Ain't nothing new, ain't nothing foreign about it either. Hanal Pixán was and still is a way to maintain a connection with the ancestors and celebrate their lives. It reflects the Mayan belief in the cyclical nature of life and death, where death is seen as a natural part of existence. So I'm gonna share a story with you guys that was told to me long ago. I'd like to share that with you, my Niji. So if you pause, we're gonna pause for the cause, and then we're gonna go ahead and get into that story. Alito, y'all, if y'all still with me, make sure that you like this video, hit that thumbs up, and hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and hit the notification bell too. But yeah, we're 700 strong, 700 plus strong. I really appreciate each and every one of y'all, and y'all hitting that thumbs up button is really helping the channel. So keep on doing that. Keep hitting that like button. And if you just an observer, somebody that just watches, don't plan on subscribing, hey, that's okay. I understand. But since you're here, might as well hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? Help a brother out. All right. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into this story. There were 3 men from Central America who left their families to look for work and opportunity in the United States. They found it by working for a white man who owned a riverboat under the Louisiana Bayou. The 3 men have been working out there for quite some time, and Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, was approaching. They began to feel homesick, missing all of their family and wanting so badly to be with them, to celebrate and give honor to their ancestors. They asked their boss if they can get some time off to acknowledge the sacred holiday and pay respects to their ancestors and heritage, but the boss refused. But on Dia de los Muertos, as they were sailing down the bayou, they entered into a thickly forested part of the river filled with willow and cypress trees with Spanish moss hanging off of them. Out there they noticed a group of dark-skinned Louisiana Aboriginal Indians, adorned in elegantly feathered regalia along the bank and shores, singing, dancing, and performing a sacred ceremony. As the men seen this, something seemed really familiar about it. Initially, when they witnessed this beautiful sight from the riverboat, they immediately fell to their knees with their hands to the sky, falling down and giving praise and honor in their native language. And their boss heard the commotion, and he immediately ran to where they were on the boat and questioned the men why they stopped working and what was going on. One of the men looked up to the boss. He had tears in his eyes, remembering home, remembering his ancestors, and seeing this sight in front of him that was happening. He said, "They are having sacred ceremony in the same ways as our ancestors. We are giving them our respect and showing honor to them, as we did not know we had brothers and sisters out here in the United States who celebrates as our people do. They are our family." So the moral of this story is, although we may be in different parts of the Americas, we may have our differences, and hell, we may even look different from one another. We still share many similarities when it comes to our ancient ways, particularly when it comes to the ancient Mississippian and Mayan culture. Although we are many, we are one. Our ancient cultures bring us together from the north, central, south, and surrounding islands. So as long as we remember who we are, we can find a common ground with one another. All right, so that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. If you want to, take some time out. I highly encourage you, highly suggest that you take some time out during this time to just give some thanks and honor to your ancestors. Acknowledge them, observe them. You know what I mean? Recognize them. Let them know that you still remember them. Take that time out to go within yourself and show respect to the ones who came before you. That's my word of encouragement today for you. All right. So with that being said, happy Hanal Pixán, Dia de los Muertos. If you celebrate it, you know, hey, if you had a happy Halloween, then happy Halloween to you. Just don't get sick off all that candy. Watch your kids. Watch the candies and stuff. Make sure you're checking that shit, because yeah, people be doing stuff. But anyway, this is Chief Steve signing off, saying Tatakista. I cherish y'all. And again, 700 plus strong. We still growing. I really appreciate it. We're gonna keep on growing. We ain't stopping. All right, we ain't stopping. We're going to keep on going, keep on moving, keep on going upward and outward. We're going to get this message, get this truth out to all those who are willing to listen. All right? Yokoki, thank you. And we'll see you next time.